Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the St. Louis podcast. I'm your glorious host today, Eric Brown, sitting next to Chris Reisner. Today we have Scott Otey on the St. Louis podcast. We're going to go into the weeds with him and his business. But before we do, this is the St. Louis podcast where each and every Friday at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, we drop an episode on all major podcasting, audio, and video platforms where we meet with the most badass people and creators to talk about business, entrepreneurship, and current events. Let's jump into it. Scott, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, man. I appreciate you having me out.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure. I know you've owned a business for quite a while in St. Louis, so any way that we could talk to business owners and get some insight, represent St. Louis, that's what we're here for.
Absolutely, man.
So, again, you own and are partner at Summit Rejuvenation Centers here in St. Louis. You said you've been over 7 years in business
It'll
now,
be,
correct?
Since 7 years in May.
Okay.
7 years. Yep.
Where was the first location at? Was that in Chesterfield?
Yes, that was our first one. We opened up May of 2018.
So I would like to kind of go back to that. Now, I know I've been, we've been friends on Facebook for a while. I don't know if we've ever really talked or anything like that, maybe commented on posts, but, you still share that first week sometimes of opening that first office space. And I still see that. So, I would like to know kind of what made you take that first step. Was it, did you already have clientele beforehand that you were servicing before you actually opened the brick and mortar location? Or, you went into debt, you had a business plan, you figured out how to finance it, and you opened that place yourself?
For the most part, yeah. So me and my partner, John, who's my partner in this as well, we owned supplement stores before we did this. We've been in the fitness, industry, whatever you want to call it, for our whole lives. He's been a personal trainer. I've been a personal trainer. He's been a strength conditioning coach. We've had a lot of experience. We've always been the kind of no bullshit type guys. We're not going to lie to you and try to sell you some stupid stuff. That's kind of that was actually one of our downfalls with the supplement industry because fat burners is one of it's like 80% of the sales in supplements. Well, fat burners work when you take them, but when you stop taking them, if you don't have a kind of lifestyle change, guess what? You're going to gain the weight back. So we were more trying to push lifestyle change, which is good for our morals, not really good for numbers and sales.
Sure, yeah.
That's kind of how we always were. So people had they had a trust and rapport with us because we didn't shoot them. We weren't just trying to make a sale and be done with it. We tried to actually help people. And but the thing with supplements is, if I give you XYZ supplement, it's supposed to do this. It may or may not do that.
Yep.
With what we're doing now, if I can take your blood work, I see what we have. I give you XYZ. I show you blood work again that it factually did do this. There's no debating if it did or not, or if it didn't work or it did work. It is. Then there's factual information behind that. So that's what I like a lot better of what we do now. And we can help a lot more people. The supplements are great. However, they're there to supplement your diet, not replace it type thing. And everybody needs different stuff. With what we're doing now, and kind of trying to spread awareness and the education on it, I think it's going to help a lot more people at a lot bigger scale. And help, like I said, a lot more people's lives, a lot more impactful.
Sure.
That makes sense. We can change from a whole different arena because there's so many different things and benefits that testosterone helps. It helps with your mental, your physical, your cognition, your sleep patterns, your emotion, your depression, all that kind of stuff is tied back to hormones. So instead of just giving you a protein to help build some muscle, I can help you be a better father. I can help you get that oomph again with your wife. I can help you be a better human, all from educating you and showing you what's wrong and how to fix it. So that's kind of the coolest part from it.
Why do you think there is do you think there's always been an issue with testosterone in males, or is there some sort of environmental diet? I guess, has there always been an issue, or did we finally come to the realization that testosterone has always been a problem, and now we can actually fix it?
It's always been a slight of an issue, but testosterone levels have dropped by 50% in the past 40 years.
Okay,
and there's no disputing that. I think that's what it is. Now everybody's like, well, it's the new generation, the lifestyle, this, the computer, this, or sitting around doing nothing. Which, is there a lot more jobs that you're sitting around doing nothing? Yes, absolutely, there is. You're not out there. Construction work isn't as big as it used to be. Right?
Sure.
However, there's things called EDCs, endocrine disrupting chemicals, that are in virtually everything. I actually made a post on this just 2 days ago, I think it was. And anything from the color of your shirt, the soap, your lotion, your cologne, anything with a scent, any candles, anything you put on, you have been for the past however old you are, that's taking a toll. It's fighting against your endocrine system, which is your hormones. So imagine if that came out 40 years ago and those things are strong enough to make a 40-year-old man's hormones be messed up. Imagine a kid that was born 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Did his testosterone drop, or did his testosterone never raise to the level it needed to be because he had been engulfed in baby lotion, in the food, in the water, and all this crap that's been in all of our stuff from day one. So which one is it? Is it dropping, or is it just not hitting up there to begin with? And I think that's where a lot of issues rise. It's no coincidence that you see a lot of guys in high school and 20, 25 years old. They don't really look like the dudes that did 40 years ago that were in high school and 20, 25 years old. They did less facial hair, less all that stuff. Well, guess what plays a role in facial hair? Testosterone. There's no way.
Oh, so I'm good.
You're good. Well, no, kind of. It depends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's a driving factor, but then again, if you think about it, man, it's just it's one of them things that they've been exposed to their entire lives. So does the sanitary life, as far as what they do for a living and the stressors and all that kind of stuff, the lifestyles play a role? I'm willing to bet it does. In their lifestyle, not training, eating like crap, absolutely. However, they're fighting and losing battle from the jump if they're engulfed in these EDCs from the jump.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? That's why we got 23, 24-year-old guys coming to us with testosterone levels of an 80-year-old man. How could they possibly screw up their hormones that bad in the 23 short years they've been here just by lifestyle differences? You know, it doesn't make any sense.
Right. It has to be environmental then at that point.
Exactly. And like I said, maybe it's not they're getting the levels are getting up and dropping, but maybe, just maybe, they've been engulfed in these chemicals for so freaking long. They never had the opportunity for testosterone levels to fully raise because they've been blocked, they've been messed up since the jump.
I've heard plastics are a big reason.
EDCs includes plastics like water bottles and stuff like that. That's all.
Yeah, because I guess in our water and in our food now, there's plastic in everything that we eat or drink.
Yep.
Because of obviously the plastic everywhere on our planet.
Yes.
There's like a lot of plastic.
Yeah, and it's not good for us.
Yes, and I made a list of 50 things that the top 50 things we use on a daily basis. This was just like 2 days ago. I put it on social media. Like shower curtains. You don't think about the shower curtain, all plastic. Receipt paper. That's got most in it. Touch receipt paper, that gets right through your skin. The soaps you use, the lotion, the shaving cream, the toothpaste, the water we drink. How can you avoid it? You can't.
Yeah.
So your body is consistently all day long fighting against these things. It's no wonder we got these levels, again, of a 23-year-old dude coming back there, an 80-year-old man.
Is there non-EDC products? Is that a thing?
Yeah, there is. The likelihood of you avoiding all EDCs is about, you would have to sit naked in the forest in the middle of nothing to do that. And even still, if it rained on you,
I mean, that wouldn't be a bad way to
I mean, hey, you know, if you can, no bills. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But man, it would be extremely difficult to do. Just with everyday things you don't think. Your glasses, they got rubber linings in those. Plastics. And it's how often you wear glasses? Every single day, touching your skin to be absorbed every day. So it's just little things like that, man, that people don't think about. Headphones we're wearing right now. It's going to seep into your skin. That's how it works. So it's, unfortunately, there's something you just can't avoid. If you can't avoid it, the best thing to do is be aware of it. You know what I mean? So you can try to fight against it. You know what I mean?
Do you help females as well?
Yes.
Is it just testosterone, or do you have other things for them as well?
For females, it depends where they are in their life cycle type thing. If they're premenopausal, we do have different things for postmenopausal, so on and so forth. A lot of our premenopausal, they have a lot of the same symptoms as guys do for the same reasons as guys do.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, as far as sleep pattern interruption, libido issues, as far as like any kind of like sexual type stuff. They have the weight gain, they have the mental cognition, all those things, the tired, all that kind of crap that most people just attribute to being old, which yes, you grow older, you get more tired. I understand that. However, you don't have to feel like you're aging as rapidly as we are.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So it's no way to feel. So, but it really depends on where they're at in their cycle, all that kind of stuff.
Interesting. Yeah, because I know testosterone's always usually talked about from a male perspective, but there's a lot that can help out with females as well.
It's a lot, because usually for females, they have a sticking point called menopause. When they hit that, their hormones are changed.
Yeah.
But that was 30, 40 years ago. Now we have all this other environmental factors. We're finding females with testosterone levels of zilch, which is nothing.
Yeah.
And so they're having issues way sooner than the menopause part.
Interesting.
And the same thing like with guys, we don't have a menopause. We don't have an indicator of when our hormones are changing, right? So we just kind of have to take a guess. No, I tell everybody, no one knows you like you know you.
Yeah.
If you're feeling something's off, there's probably a reason. If it's a 1 week, something's off, okay, it could be stress, could be this, could be whatever. If you're looking 2, 3, 4 months and the same thing, that just your oomph is gone, there's something going on. And it's too easy to get blood work to not do it, to at least get some insight. I'm not even saying testosterone's the issue. However, you can mark that off. You know what I mean? So you have an idea of what the hell's going on inside your body. When's the last time you guys got blood work?
Last year at Mercy, but not for testosterone.
Well,
yeah, exactly 1 year ago, and they did not do testosterone.
And just silly stuff like that. You know, like they don't check your thyroid function, you don't take your kidney, your liver, your A1C. All these things are very important to how you feel. However, they're not detrimental. They're not life or death. So they're not going to run a lot of those, because if you go in and you want testosterone test and say your insurance doesn't cover that, that could be a $300 test. So, and then you're stuck with that bill. So you're bound by insurance so much, which is absolutely absurd. That's why we don't even mess with it whatsoever. That it scares a lot of doctors away from doing it, because if you get that test run by your doctor and you get this big ass bill, who you can be mad at? Your doctor.
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell me this? You know what I mean? And they don't control what's covered and what's not covered, but they have to have a legitimate reason to write down a code to run whatever panel. That's why they won't do a massive test, because they don't know what to look for. You know what I mean? So if they don't give a reason to look for that, they're not going to look for it.
So what if I just go into the doctor and I say, I feel like shit, I don't know why?
They're probably gonna give you some depression meds and call you good and say you're getting older. That's what we hear. That's what we hear all the time.
That's probably true. Yeah, that's probably true.
Next thing you know, you're on 5 different medications because that one medication gave you a side effect. This one's could combat that side effect of this one, and so on and so forth.
It's so wild, the side effects of medicine. When you listen to the commercial, I'm like, why would anyone? You might kill your wife. It's like, why would I want to take that?
Yeah, but you won't have a rash, so that's it. You're good to go.
Yeah,
well, that's the thing too. You figure you got all these kids that are just boys being boys. And they're put on Ritalin, an ADHD medication, for 10, 15 years. Next thing you know, they're 20 years old, and they can't get an erection. Well, because they've been on a medication that's been suppressing their hormones forever.
Yep.
Plus the EDCs, all this other stuff. Well, of course they can't. And they've been dumbed down for the past 10 years, taking some medication where they're just trying to be, maybe they're bored, and they're letting their energy out. you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it just, and the parents nowadays are a lot of the laptops, the computers, which is, hey, my kids do them too, but they're also outside doing shit. You know what I mean? So
I don't see kids really outside anymore.
That's what I love about I live in a court, and we have 15 kids in our court, and they are outside almost to drive you nuts. They're outside screaming and yelling, being crazy, but they're outside. They're being kids. They're not inside playing video games all the damn time.
Yeah, you almost have to live like in an area where there's other kids. Yeah. Otherwise, you're shit out of luck.
It's hard, man. It's hard.
Were you diagnosed with ADHD at any point? Because I know you were. I know I was. Matt, were you ever diagnosed?
I don't have the squirrel mentality that you guys do. There's no way.
Yeah. That's fine. I was just wondering.
Yeah.
But we hear it all the time as far as guys coming in that have been on Adderall for 10 years, and they have no idea why their testosterone level's so low. It's like, well, you've been on a single medication for a decade.
Yeah.
Since you were you hadn't hit puberty yet when you're on this medication.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you expect, if this thing suppresses your testosterone naturally, what do you think it's going to do when you hit puberty and you don't? It's not going to allow it to get where it needs to be. So maybe it didn't drop. Maybe it never got up there. You know what I mean? It's a different perspective that I don't think a lot of people think about.
Well, I always wonder, because I was prescribed medicine in first grade. I didn't take a stimulant though. I took Strattera is what it was called. It was an SSNRI, so selective serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitor. Say that a couple times in a row. And I honestly wonder how I would have been. Just take the medicine out of my life. Just take that out. How would my brain be now versus me taking that essentially all the way through high school?
One of the thing is too, what blood indicator they have to say you have XYZ? Nothing.
You're fidgety in your seat. You're
fidgety off this. Because
I know. I was part of a research study.
I mean, they're professionals, right? So you're supposed to trust what they say. But that's one opinion, one human's opinion of how this one kid's acting, and they probably in a 1 hour or 2 hour ordeal that you're sitting down talking to get to know you.
Yeah.
Kids are kids, man. And it's just the fact that we have to dumb them down so much because we don't know how to handle it is absolutely absurd. And the fact that the medical community doesn't even think twice about prescribing, well, he does this and this and this. Okay,
well, they get paid.
Here you go. And
right.
But that's a kid. It's a baby.
Yeah.
And the effects of this long term. Can you imagine being 20 years old and not being able to have an erection? What that would do to your life?
That's insane.
Just the insecurity you would have, not want to talk to girls, what you would want to be alone by yourself because you're too scared to do anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Low confidence.
Yeah.
It's like as a man, that's a thing that it makes you a man, and you 100%, don't have that.
Yeah.
You matter how little confidence you would have in the rest of your life, and confidence spills over to your relationships, your work, your everything.
Everything.
And so it might sound silly just not getting an erection, but it's so much more than that. You know what I mean? So. Doctors do that to kids. Not saying it's intentional by any means, but that's a side effect of it. It's a real thing, and it's happening in massive, massive numbers. It used to be 40 get your levels checked. Now that was 30. Well, now we got guys that are 25 years old that can't get erections. That's absolutely absurd.
There's
no way in 25 years of your life, I don't care how crazy you lived it, you mess up your hormones that bad to where you can't get an erection anymore.
There's rock stars that can get an erection up to like 60, and they abuse their bodies more
Steve,
than the 20.
Steven Tyler probably still work. You know what I mean? That dude's 110.
Oh yeah, they're good.
Yeah,
they're
so
good.
it's just like, man, this guy's 25 years old. And again, like I said, it's not just the sexual aspect; it's the confidence aspect that you need in life to succeed. Life's hard as it is. Throwing in wrenches like that when having these issues you shouldn't be having and wondering why, and not having not having the information or the knowledge to know why, and trusting your doctor to do X, Y, Z. Then you give them, then you tell them, hey, I'm depressed because of this. What do? Do they fix the problem at hand, or they give you another medication?
Yeah.
They give you another medication.
Well, I would assume a depressive medication is not going to be good for your guy down there.
No, it's not. It's not at all, actually. So
that's what.
It's that's another issue. That's how many people on depression meds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
A lot.
So instead, is depression a real thing? Absolutely. However, depression meds aren't they should be a crutch to get you to learn how to be better and how to get rid of that medication, not something you have to take for the rest of your life. It shouldn't be. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't have a role of what they want to do with life. If you're not chasing nothing, you're not pursuing anything, of course you're gonna be fucking depressed, man.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing every day?
Yeah.
Well, I guess go do this again.
Yeah.
If you don't give a shit about, if you don't have nothing to chase, what are you doing? You know what I mean? So
I feel like it used to be easier back in the day to figure out what you were doing, right? Because there was less options. Now there's just so many options. I feel like it's almost too much.
Yes, I mean, and there is. So I mean, it's a good thing or bad thing. So it's one of them things that if you can be overwhelmed very easily, or you can take advantage of that. And that's all on your perspective on how you're going to do that kind of stuff. See, with me, there's so many different ways that we can advertise what we do, and I fully believe that this is doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm content. I love what I do, but just silly things as far as marketing and advertising. There's so many different avenues. There's TikTok. There's Instagram. There's this, where it can be very confusing because which one do I go on? Do I go on all of them? Do I do this? Do I do that? There's so many different options. But now with the internet the way it is, these young kids can make stupid money doing very little, and they think that, and even though it's a rare thing, they think that everyone can do that. And they're continually chasing that. Just by spending time on the computer, they think they're getting somewhere. But you're not going anywhere. You think you're going somewhere. Like if you asked most people, like, what's your goal? What we trying to do? Well, I want to be rich. Oh, do you?
Yeah. How?
A lot of us do.
Yeah.
What are your steps to get there? Do you have an LLC? Do you have this? Well, no. Well, man, you haven't even done the base work yet. How do you plan on getting up there? You know what I mean? But again, that's when I was 20, 25 years old. I was an iron worker back then. I had no clue I'd be where I'm at now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So stuff can change very drastically pretty quickly.
Do you think it's weird that there's an entrepreneurship degree?
Yes. I think that.
Because doesn't that go everything against entrepreneurship?
1,000%. I agree wholeheartedly. And it's the fact that they have that, man. That's just another case of people taking advantage of people wanting to do better. So they think they can do that and make some guys making money off doing that.
100%.
And they're taking advantage of people that want to be better, because entrepreneurship is a phenomenal thing, but right now it's a really, really trendy thing as well. And
trendy. Everybody wants to be an
entrepreneur. The fact is, I think it's 6 or 8% of entrepreneurs actually make it, and it goes down to like 4% after 5 years or some crazy shit.
Yeah.
So the fact that people think everyone can be an entrepreneur, statistically, it's not there. You know what I mean? But it's the cool thing to do. You know what I mean? And so and unfortunately, I don't think that's going to go away. I love seeing people try to do it and have ideas to go do it and chase your dreams, man. Absolutely, go 100%, go balls to the wall. But the fact is, people are taking 95 of these classes and these courses and these books and going to these seminars, and they're getting all this information. They're not applying zero of it. They don't have an LLC yet. You know what I mean? Or whatever it may be.
Is it even being taught by entrepreneurs, or is it just like business coaching right now, where they try to start a business, they fail, so then they become
coaches
a coach?
Teach you how to coach more guys, how to be another coach.
And then become a bigger coach.
What's your business? I coach coaches to be coaches.
The coach pyramid, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's another thing too, man. It just, I don't know what the deal is with the attractions. I understand it to a certain extent, because you see all this, you see all the cars, the money, and you want that. You chase that. I understand that. But how many different ways can they say the exact same fucking thing?
Yes.
It's just like, hey guys, the big model for being successful in life is work. When that doesn't work, change your route and work again, and then work, and then if that doesn't work, change out, just go again.
Yeah.
And instead of being yelled at, tell you you're a fat piece of shit, or you're this, or you're that, you're a loser, you should be here by 25. I got 4 Bentleys. How is that helping you? And why are you paying to fucking hear that? It's mind-boggling to me, man.
There are so many grifters. It's insane. Yes. The internet has definitely made a lot more grifters from everyone. So that's...
Well, I feel like I'm going to unique situation because I'm not anywhere near where I plan on being. I'm not some mega millionaire by any means.
Yeah.
I'm in that kind of middle phase where I'm still figuring shit out. So I'm almost 7 years old.
Yeah.
Where I would like to help people that are in my situation, not that's a little closer to them to the starting point than most are. But I don't even want to do that because I don't want to be associated with any of the freaking the coaches that are doing that. You know what I mean? So because I have, like I said, if you want to start a business, you'd be a lot more closer to me than you would be some guy that's making $100 million a year.
Yes.
You know, so I can kind of relate to you a little better. But I don't even want to get in that field just because I don't want to be associated with the people like that at all.
Yeah, I guess. Would you want to charge them? Like, would you want to charge? Like, would you go that route?
See, you would have to because if you don't charge for something, we give something away for free, they don't take value in it. And B, I'm busy as shit.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna help somebody, I love helping people, but I'm gonna charge you because if I get it for free, I'll have 1 million guys wasting my time. If I charge somebody, maybe I'll have 100. You know what I mean? And out of that 100, maybe 5 will actually do something.
Or you could just mentor like 1 or 2 people.
And I do that with my buddies anyways.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
yeah.
I do that quite often. Even that's consuming as shit. You know what I mean? So it's you only have so much energy to give. And I got my wife who's 5 months pregnant. I've already got 2 kids.
Congrats.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I've got the business that's growing rapidly. So if I'm going to do something, I'm not going to do it half-ass. So but I want to make sure I have the energy to actually do it. And sometimes it's just not worth the energy because you can tell the same person 35 times the exact same thing, and they're just not going to get it.
Yep.
And some people aren't made to be in that situation. Some are. You know what I mean?
It's very true. So, okay, so you opened your first location. How long till you open your second?
I want to say 2 years.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's pretty quick.
Yeah, we grew pretty quick. We our first day we opened, we actually had 32 consultations.
Wow.
So within the first month, we had about 80 patients within the first month.
Okay.
Because I had been talking about it, building it up. Long story short, we got royally screwed with what we were supposed to when we were opening. It took a lot longer than it was supposed to because the people we were working with. Originally, we were going to open a franchise, a turnkey operation type thing. We pay them X dollars, and they basically turnkey all this crap. Yeah. Well,
sounds nice.
It sounds great, and me not knowing.
Yeah, it sounds great.
The lease terms, all this kind of crap. It sounds fantastic. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Well, I signed a lease in December. And with our lease, we negotiated a 6 month free rent so we can get our stuff up and going, get it built out, get some money going on it before we had to pay rent. Well, here it was May, and the company, the people we were working with, they hadn't even pulled permits yet to get the construction going. So I had and my brother.
Oh my God!
My brother's a subcontractor. Talk about want to murder people.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So here we are. We've already wasted 5 months of our rent. And so I called my brother, he works for a company called ISC out here in St. Louis, and they got the permits, all that stuff built out, everything done in 17 days. So luckily we were open May 17th.
Wow.
Okay. So we got it all done, got it all knocked out, and we got rolling. But man, we got screwed because we gave this guy a $50,000 deposit.
I was about to say, so did you lose out on that money to the franchise?
So basically how it was is when we paid them 50 G's, and then whenever we got open, we're going to pay them the other amount. Well, all this money included all the costs for construction, all this crap. Well, the construction costs were wildly different because they had some Joe Schmo who didn't do anything apparently. Yeah. And we had a union construction company come do it. So they're like, we're not paying that. We didn't pick this. It's like, guys, I don't know what to do. My hands are tied. You didn't do what you're supposed to do. So I had to do it because we waited 5 months for your guys to do something. So obviously we didn't get along very well after that. And basically we told them to get fucked. We're going to do our own thing. So we say, hey, give us our $50,000 back because that money was supposed to go towards construction and all this stuff. And of course, no, they don't want to do that. So we had to go through 2 years of lawsuits, all this bullshit, which we won. Yeah. But the only thing is, we got some of our money back, but we had to pay our lawyers and all this other shit. So no one wins in that.
No one wins,
You know what I mean? Yep. But that forced us.
The lawyers win.
The lawyers win. Our lawyer was super cool, man. Super awesome dude. He told us we need to try to get this settled out as fast as possible because the only person's going to win is him. So he was very upfront with that. Yeah. But because of the money, the $50,000 we weren't planning on just not having, that messed with our opening budget, obviously. So me and my partner, John, we worked 18 months for free before we started taking a paycheck because we didn't have the money to sit in there. So we had to build it up from scratch, man. Yeah. So we had him move out of his apartment, move into my house so we can consolidate bills. I was working, digging holes, doing fences in the days we were closed, just trying to make work. And he was working at the shop as much as humanly possible. It was a rough 18 months, man. It was a long 18 months. Are
you glad though that happened?
I am because
you think you'd be in the spot you are now if that didn't?
Now I think I'd probably be pretty close. But
Okay.
with this, man, it forced me to have my hands on and learn every single aspect of this business.
Yeah.
I didn't know about a DEA license. I didn't know how to track testosterone. I didn't know about the BNDD license we need to do testosterone, how to train and what kind of doctors we needed and what can do here, all that kind of crap. Since I didn't have a company to lean on to do that, I had to learn it from scratch. So I know every single aspect of this business because I was forced to.
Yeah.
The whole point of hiring or doing a franchise type thing is because I didn't know. So I was going to have them do it, be easier. But if they screw you over, the guy was in Florida the day we opened. He had zero staff trained for us, nothing. We had to get some staff, and it happened to be a day that his company was off, and we had him come over. We treated him a lot better than this guy did, I guess. So we stole half his staff. It's like, dude, screw you, man. You're supposed to, this is the day, we're opening this day forever, and you're in Florida.
I wish you would just say the franchise name, but I won't make it.
No, I won't do that.
I'm just kidding.
I won't do that. But yeah, man, it was a shitty deal that turned out to be for the best. We changed our name, and it was. I'm grateful for it because right now, if we were all together still, we'd be making him a shit ton of money. And fuck that.
Yeah.
You know what I
Now
mean?
It's all yours.
It's us. We own the name. We got the copyright to the name, trademark, all that kind of crap. So it's all us.
Yeah. We talk with more and more franchises. Yeah, Chris?
Yeah, I have to hop out. But
All
it was great meeting
Nice
you.
meeting you, brother. You have a good day, man.
You too.
We'll see you, Chris. So, interesting. Okay. So you open, you have how many locations now? 7?
Oh, no, we only got 3.
Oh, okay.
See,
okay.
we had a couple franchises that we had to pull some names from. We didn't agree on some certain things.
Okay.
No big deal.
Yeah.
It was a learning curve, and we just didn't work out as planned.
Sure.
But we opened up our telemedicine in April.
Okay.
So now we're allowed to do from our location we have in St. Louis, we can do all 50 states.
Interesting. Okay.
So that one's kind of changed our model a little bit because we were going to plan to open up more locations, but now we don't need brick and mortar. Why would we?
Right. You can just schedule online.
The overhead's too much to deal with, so we don't have to.
Yeah.
The other thing we'll have to do is buy a bigger facility, just because we're growing so rapid that we're going to need more employees. And our biggest locations are South County one. That's like 16 or 1,800 square feet.
Yeah.
But that's still getting a little bit jam packed with the amount of girls we have in there working.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. That's awesome though.
Yeah, man. I'm blessed as shit, man. Shit's going extremely well.
So I'm curious on the whole, I like the name Summit Rejuvenation. Let's go to branding real quick because of course, we do some marketing. A lot of other men's clinics, let's call them, or whatever it is. So there's a lot of like manly names. It's like Man Up and like all of these it's like, no offense, but that just sounds cheesy as hell. It's like that means you're not a man.
Well, and that's the thing. The company previous to us, we were opening it up, was a very masculine. That cut off 50% of the population.
I was about to say, yeah, women aren't going to want to go to Man Up.
No. So that's exactly why we changed our name and made it a little softer colors and shit like that, because not black and red or whatever it is.
That's insane. That's a roofing company.
And like by doing that, like I said, you automatically cut off the massive amount of the population. And with us, man, it's kind of cool to have a husband or wife come in, and then all of a sudden they feel so good, they bring their spouse with them. And so we just literally changed the direction of that marriage because they went first thing, the husband wouldn't want to have sex. He didn't have no urge to do so. He's coming home, sleeping after work, blah, 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 blah. That's the story we hear all the damn time. Then he's feeling great again. He's starting to love on his wife again, flirt with her and have fun again, be the couple they were. And then she can't keep up and she wants to do the same thing because he's feeling so good. That's cool shit, man. We're making the family dynamic come back. And that's the physical aspects, the testosterone therapy, the muscles and shit, the fat loss, that's great. The mental side of how it changes a man and how it changes a woman into like being them again, and it seems like the life doesn't hit them as hard. If that makes sense. You know what I mean? It does. And it's really, really cool to see.
So if you start taking testosterone, your testosterone's low. Is that something you have to do forever?
If you want to keep doing the benefits, yes. So it's like one of them things. I compare it to making your bed. You can every day you get up, your bed's gonna make itself. You don't have to make it, right? But it's not gonna be the same. You know what I mean? So can you stop taking it? Absolutely. But then you're gonna go back right to where you were to begin with, and that's the reason you wanted to change.
So it's not like your body will
kick back on.
Yeah, no.
Unfortunately not. Every day, like we're talking about the EDCs, they're attacking you every day. So it's just like it's one of them things that you don't have to keep taking it. However, if you want to keep feeling the benefits, you're going to keep taking it. And the reason you came into the facility in the first place is because you're feeling like shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I think that's one of the things that maybe makes people scared to go in.
I agree 100%.
Is because they know, well, shit, I'm going to have to do this forever. And I don't know how expensive it is on a monthly basis, but I would assume there's affordable packages. But, saying like I got to, $100 for the rest of every month for the rest of my life.
Hey there, St. Louis podcast listeners. We've got some exciting news from our sponsor, Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, led by the man, the myth, the legend, Mark Lee. Mark Lee of Farmers Insurance is recruiting agency owners here in St. Louis.
That's right, Garrett, and everyone knows what Farmers Insurance is, and if they don't, they will now.
Yes, it's kind of a household name. That said, as many of you know, a large part of our audience is made up of badass business owners, entrepreneurs, and top producing sales professionals with an open mind like yourself. Farmers Insurance is currently searching for driven individuals who aspire to own their own business or already own their own business and want to add another income stream to join the Farmers Insurance brand and own their own insurance agency.
This is a stellar opportunity to build your own insurance agency from scratch, take over an existing agency, or if you're just a slow roller, we know you the guys out there and ladies, get paid to train under an existing successful agency owner before starting your own.
Holy shit, Eric. That means that whether you have experience as a business owner or you've never heard the word business before in your life, there's a pathway to owning your own business through Farmers Insurance Agency led by Mark Lee.
That's right. You can become a Farmers Insurance business owner even if you've been homeless in the past, just like you.
Yeah, thanks.
If you've ever dreamt of being your own boss, building a team under a reputable brand, and making a difference in your community by offering top-tier auto, home, and commercial insurance to consumers and businesses in your area, Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, led by the godlike man himself, Mark Lee, has the perfect opportunity for you.
Visit insurancecareerstl.com to speak with Mark Lee, the district manager of Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, to become a Farmers Insurance agency owner today.
Did you hear that, St. Louis? Go visit insurancecareerstl.com. Insurancecareerstl.com. That is INSURANCE, career, CAREERSTL.com.
To become a business owner today, again, one more time, visit insurancecareerstl, as in St. Louis.com today. Right now, this second, or reach out to us at stlouispodcast.com and we'll introduce you to Mark Lee ourselves. And I promise he won't spell out insurance and career to you.
Now back to the show. But also, if you're feeling good, that's the best $100 you can spend every single month.
And that's the thing. What's your health worth?
Right, exactly.
And like I said, I'm not going to say this is a make or break for your health. You're going to be an all-around healthy, awesome person. You're going to be taking it.
Yeah.
But it's the drive to do better. It's a drive to be better, to be a better spouse, be a better employee, business owner, whatever it may be. What's that worth? You know what I mean? So we got guys now that have been on that kind of had the same thoughts. I'm gonna be this forever. It's gonna be this monthly cost, blah 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 blah. And now it's like, hey, I would cancel my cell phone before I cancel this. Because you just feel so good. You realize how much shit you can get done by being on it. So there's a reason all the top entrepreneurs, all the big dogs, you always hear about them, Ed Milet's, Andy Frisella's, all them type. They're all on it for a reason. They are at the top of their game mentally, at the tip top of their game. If those kind of dudes that know more about how their bodies and minds function are on it, there's probably a good reason for it.
Interesting.
You know what I mean?
So even if they were middle of the line, you still think they would have taken testosterone? Does that mean they were lower than where they should have been?
It really depends, man. But like I said, anybody that's going to be, because everyone thinks that they're going to be rich by 30, 35 years old and be filthy rich. Yeah. Bottom line is that's 45, 50 plus, and them guys. Them guys make it to where they are because of how they are mentally. They can deal with a lot of shit every single day.
Yep.
They find ways to make their mind work for them every single day. They got to be on top, got to be on point from every single angle to be the best of the best. And they are the best of the best.
Yeah.
So they going to look for any kind of avenues they can to be in tip-top shape mentally and physically. And testosterone is one of those ways. If it wasn't, you think those guys are going to waste their time doing something that doesn't work?
No.
They're going to waste their money doing it? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
They're too intelligent of human beings to do that shit. So there's a reason why all the top dogs do it.
Yeah.
It's not just because they like sticking themselves with a needle.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, is it something where you can buy like a bulk order almost and keep
Not
it? Do you have to put it in the fridge? I forget.
No, I'm going to put it in the fridge.
No,
but so typically what we do, man, we can give you a month or two at a time.
Okay.
But since testosterone is considered a controlled substance, you can only distribute so much at a time.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes.
I guess that makes sense. You don't want someone just shooting it up, I guess.
Man, I think the thing is with controlled substance aspect, I think it's the same as getting caught with like heroin, which is absolutely absurd. If you take 10 times more testosterone than you're supposed to, you'll probably get a zit. If you take 10 times more Advil than you're supposed to, you'll die.
Yeah.
So it's like, are the laws valid? No, that's kind of stupid to even have that.
Yeah.
You're doing it to yourself. You know what I mean? So, but unfortunately, that's an issue, and you got to work around it and make it work. You know what I mean? So as of right now, the DEA and stuff, they are very, very big on testosterone because it's a growing thing. Mm-hmm. So we have to track every single milligram that comes in, every single milligram that goes out. It's got to be written out like a checkbook.
Interesting. Okay. So you have like a ledger.
It's a lot.
Interesting.
Work.
Okay. Huh, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty intense, man.
Well, do you need a doctor's script for it?
Yes. So we got our doctors on site. And then we got our nurse practitioners, we got some RNs, and we got some MAs. So we get the whole spiel all there in one location. Yeah.
Okay. So it's Schedule 1.
3, I believe.
Schedule 3.
2. I forgot the hell even was.
Okay.
But it's a big, like I said, you have to have a DEA number to even, so you got to have your doctor got to have a DEA number to even order it. It's a big deal. You know what I mean? So it's funny because it's so talked about on like TikTok and Instagram, all these steroids things. They're so open and like trying to buy it and sell it. It's like, I understand it's a common thing. It's still highly, highly fucking illegal. Mm-hmm. So it's like the fact you guys are just talking about all this shit and then like where you can get it from and all this and all that. I'm like, are you guys just fucking retarded? Just because you're comfortable with it, so you're okay about opening, like telling these 19-year-old kids to take Tren and all this crazy shit that can literally harm them and stop production for the rest of their lives. Mm-hmm. And you guys are just talking about it on a social media site. It's like, you've got to be shitting me.
There's a couple of those people that go around to like bodybuilding things and natty or not, there's a couple of those people. Those are always funny. But it's always amusing when you have like the bodybuilders and stuff that say, no, never done it. It's like, why not be honest, dude?
It's mind-boggling.
It's so obvious for something. It's like you literally could not be that big if you weren't.
I mean, 9 times out of 10, man, if you look like you're trained, I mean, it's very, very rare for a human that has never touched anything at all to look like they train.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's a lot of freaking work. When you're on steroids, is it a lot of work? Fucking absolutely. They shouldn't lift the weights for you.
Exactly.
But there's a very noticeable difference between the guy that's on juice and the guy that's not on juice. Right. 100%. And the people that try to lie about it, it's like, yeah, you got 23-inch arms just for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, come on, man. No one gives a shit if you're on or not. No one cares.
Yes.
You're not winning any awards for being cleaner than the other guy.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a difference. But for some, and we have it still. We have a lot of, because like with our shirts we give out for free whenever somebody signs up.
Yeah.
We avoid putting like testosterone clinics on there and anything like that because a lot of people won't wear it because they're ashamed to be on testosterone. It's just like, maybe not ashamed, but they don't want no one to know. Like it's taboo or something. It's like, if you were diabetic, would you be ashamed of taking insulin?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's the same damn thing.
I guess it's still like a stigma, right?
And I think now because it's
which I never really thought there was a stigma around testosterone. I think the biggest thing is people just don't understand.
Steroids in general. You always had the WWE, the roid rage, killing your wife, and all this other crazy crap, which is all bullshit in the first place.
Yeah.
It's so steroids had this bad things. Anybody that worked out when was all juiced up, if they did something bad, automatic go-to was to blame steroids, not blame your jack off. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You're just
it's an easy excuse.
You're a bad human. Screw it. I'll go ahead and blame it on this, even though I did it 13 times. It's got to be the steroids. You know what I mean? So I think that gave a bad stigma. But nowadays, man, it's getting the TRT world's getting a lot bigger, which is awesome to raise awareness. But with that comes a lot of misinformation as well.
Yeah.
And that's a negative thing. But that's why we try to educate as much as humanly possible, because the more you know how it functions and why it functions, the better your results are going to be, because a lot of stuff happens mentally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but it's hopefully getting less of a taboo type thing. That's been more clinical research can come out on it, which is always a positive thing. That's been happening a lot as far as it's been proven to be cardiovascular protective, where it used to be thought that it caused strokes and all this other crap because they didn't run a whole lot of tests on it because it's a controlled substance. I'm not going to run human trials on a controlled substance.
Yes.
I'm not going to do that.
Yep.
So a lot more research is coming out on it, which is fantastic. It's like I said, it kind of debunked the prostate cancer thing. It debunked the heart issue thing. It's safe. You know what I mean? It's safe and it's very effective. Which
I wonder where that link to the prostate thing came from.
There was
some bullshit study in like the 90s or something.
No, it was actually 1942. It was a study. It was a study of 4 people. One of the 4 it made their PSA go up, so they linked the PSA rating basically to higher prostate cancer, because whenever you have prostate cancer, it raises your PSA.
It's like the salt and blood pressure thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the same concept, man. And the thing is, that study consisted of 4 people, and that one study in 1942 or 43 lasted this long, and there's still doctors that think it causes prostate cancer because of that one study, and they have no clue what the study was. They didn't ever learn it. They just heard it. You know what I'm saying? And it's absolutely crazy that stigma has lasted so long on a bullshit study.
I do think it's interesting that now I don't know any doctors that really do this, but I was at my primary care like last year looking at I forget what we were looking at, some sort of medicine. And in their system you could actually see all of like the studies.
Oh yeah. A lot of them.
But they're not reading that.
No. One of the things too, like
unless you're showing the person.
In a primary care doctor, they've only got X amount of minutes to even talk with you.
Yeah.
So like I said,
we were talking
I
about
try not
this before,
to burden them too much with everything, because they cannot know everything about everything. Where it pisses me off is when they say absolute bullshit information, and maybe they don't know what's wrong. But if you're a doctor and you're going to give any opinion, it should be an educated one of some sort. And if you don't know, you don't know. That's fine. But just say that and send it somewhere else. Don't say, well, no, it's going to cause cancer, and scare the living shit out of your patient, because your patient's supposed to trust you when that's based on studies that have been debunked 30,000 times in the past 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Google it. I mean, shit, man. You're a doctor. Just Google it.
Yep.
It's right there. You've got the resources. Just do it. So if you care that little, just don't say anything at all. Don't say anything at all, because we deal with it all the time. So we like to work hand in hand with the primary care physicians in case something goes on. We know how to work with it. And we've had all the time where the person's cholesterol levels come back better. They've lost 30 pounds, this, and that. And then their doctor's like, well, yeah, that's great, but testosterone's still bad for you. It's like, the only thing they've changed is their fucking testosterone levels, man. Like, how can you say that?
So they can prescribe, but can they actually fill, or do you have to go to someone like you to actually like fill the script? Like they can't go to Walgreens. Yeah, you can't go to Walgreens and get testosterone. Right? You can.
Oh yeah. If you're lucky enough to get your primary care to and your insurance to cover it, you can go to your Walgreens and get your testosterone and all that kind of stuff. The only thing is with the insurance, like we were saying earlier, is they take, you got to test below 200 or 250 before 9 a.m. twice back to back and all this other crap. And if you do get it covered, it's really, really cheap. However, they'll give you one shot of testosterone every 14 to 21 days.
Gotcha.
The half-life of testosterone 7 to 9 days. So mathematically, how the hell that even makes sense whatsoever is mind-boggling to me. So you feel good for 4 or 5 days, and all of a sudden you feel like shit for the rest of the month. It doesn't make any sense.
So it's not a solution.
It's not. And it said that if it's not beneficial to you, what's the point? Oh, it's real cheap. Well, if it's real cheap, you still feel like shit. So
right.
What's the point? You know what I mean?
I feel like would be even worse than feeling like shit or good all the time is feeling like good, bad.
Well, then your hormones go up and down. Exactly. And
that's horrible.
That's less beneficial for you than it would be just feel like shit all the time. Just screw it. You know what I mean? Because then you're going down, dropping up, and it's that's what we try to avoid, and that's what these doctors, knowingly or not, are doing a lot of the time, because they just don't know what they're doing, or the insurance company just won't pay for it anyways.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? So it doesn't matter how much they know. If they prescribe X amount of milligrams per week, the insurance company can kick that back all they want. So that's why we don't deal with the insurance whatsoever. It's just too much. There's too much restriction and lack of knowledge as far as how to do something. How you can logically think to give a man one injection of testosterone every 14 or 21 days when the thing you're injecting only has a half-life of 7 to 9 days.
Yeah.
That logically speaking makes absolutely zero sense.
So usually is it once a week? Is that what
it's minimum once a week?
Minimum once a week.
Because the half-life of the compound itself is 7 to 9 days. That does not take into consideration how fast your body metabolizes it. My body and your body metabolizing the testosterone is going to be at a rapidly different rate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yep.
Your body, just like anything else. If you like olives and I do, they're very, very different. They're going to react different to everything, to different medications. So it's the same concept. So it's minimum once a week, and then we have a lot of guys like myself. I do 6 shots a week, but I do use little insulin needles. It's called microdosing. So I give little pulses every day, which it mimics the body's natural production a lot better.
Interesting.
So you have less side effects, less anything happening to you, because you're actually mimicking what the body's used to, and you don't have to do the big injections. The syringe is like 5/16 of an inch. I mean, it's virtually painless. You can't feel it at all. So if somebody doesn't like needles, doing that one's a lot better for you too. A lot less scar tissue buildup, a lot less risk of infection, all that kind of shit. Doing injections.
You have to inject though. There's no.
You can do creams.
Is there pills?
There is pills now. Actually, they just came out. Actually,
I feel like they're not as effective, right?
your body's got to break it down, and like there's literature on it how it surpasses the liver and stuff, man. But it's just too new, and guys, and you have to take 2 pills in the morning, 2 pills at night.
That's a lot.
Having somebody try to do that,
that's a lot.
They forget their shit anyways. We guys take 2 shots a week to forget.
Yeah,
much less, you know what I mean. So just doing it, it's too much. Hasn't been around long enough. The injection is tried and true. It's been around forever. If it's the wrong dose, we know how to manipulate it because it's been around forever.
Yeah, yeah.
There is creams. The problem with the cream is where's the spot they put it on? They put it in the right spot. Can that rub off on the clothes, get on your wife's hands?
Right.
So on and so forth. There's a lot of stuff with that. And that's something that's to be applied once or twice a day too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's a pain in the ass too.
And also I feel like the cream is hard to like measure.
Well, they have like these clicks. So basically if you XYZ clicks, but the only problem is the cream's compounded. So every click guaranteed to be the exact same amount is never going to happen.
Right.
You know, because it's never perfect.
Right.
But that's the one of the minor faults with it. But like I said, just applying something to a dry, cleanly shaved area twice a day, the chances of it being coming on your clothes, not dried off yet, and then get on your wife's hands or whatever it is, your kids get into it, whatever it is, and anything I can add or I can get rid of the friction from, I can make it easier. Yeah. It's going to be more beneficial. You know what I mean? And the injection, like I said, I do 6 days a week. I don't mind the injections. We have a lot of guys that do it very frequent like that, but it becomes a part of your routine. And it's the injection pain you don't feel hardly whatsoever because again the needle's so tiny, and if you miss a few days, you realize why you do it every day.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's like I said, there's a million ways to do it. I'm not saying they're all right. I think my personal opinion is that the injection is going to be hands and feet over everything. You know what I mean? It's not even remotely close. As far as they got pellets now too. Well, they've been around since like the 80s or 70s or something like that. But they kind of come in waves. It's kind of like that It Work wraps. You know, the It Works wrap, whatever. You know what I mean? It comes around and fades. Like that, you know what I mean? It's kind of like that. It never.
It works. Oh my god.
It never sticks because it gets popular again for about 3 months, 6 months, and then all of a sudden it fades again because people, forgot this thing didn't work.
That doesn't work.
Yeah.
Okay. That's so. I'm curious. Where do you have to inject? Does it matter?
It really depends.
I thought the joke is always you got to hit in the ass, right?
Well, people do that because a lot less nerve endings right there.
So you got
just a lot more fat tissue right there.
That makes sense.
So it's just a little easier to do it.
Yeah.
And you don't have to see it. That's a big thing.
Okay.
But man, you can really inject any muscle. It depends how much fluid you're doing. A lot of times when I was doing the IM injections, which is in the muscle injections, I do it on my shoulders. I don't like because reaching around to try to do my hip is just too difficult.
Seems like a pain, yeah.
And then with the sub-Q injections, you can shoot it anywhere you want to. The only spot I don't like doing is my midsection. I just don't like it. I guess it's an oil base, so it just feels like a little nodule there. It's right on my waistline. I don't like doing that, so I do mine like right in a little pocket, a little condom pocket you have on your jeans. Yeah. Right there is a little where your hip connects to your quad.
Yeah, right.
A little fatty tissue right there. Hit right there, and since I do so often, I just go back and forth between each leg. Okay. And you don't feel anything because you're doing such a small amount, anyways, because I'm doing it so often, and then the needle's so small, so you don't have a lot of injection pain either.
Yeah. I guess that's the other thing is getting people scared of needles to not be scared.
That's a phobia, man. And I figure
that is.
It's again, any kind of fear is lack of knowledge on the particular subject.
Yeah.
So once we do it once, it's like, oh shit, that's it. Oh, that wasn't so bad. You know what I mean? But it's a real thing. We still got guys that come into our brick and mortars that come in. They've been coming in for 4, 5, 6 years to get injections because they just simply don't like needles. And
Interesting.
And that's perfectly fine. You know what I mean? But for the
so they'll come in there twice a week.
Oh yeah.
Just stop by.
Because I mean, it's a 3-minute.
Right.
They come in. Hey, how you doing? They get to know the girls. Obviously, they've been there doing it for 3 to 5 years, whatever it is. Come in, get their injection. They're in and out the door. 2-3 minutes tops. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
Usually the girls see them walking in and have their stuff ready for them anyways. You know what I mean? Because the staff is absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, man, with people who don't like the syringes, because it's not every day you shoot yourself with a needle. You know what I mean? That's a pretty uncommon thing.
Yeah.
But when I show them the IM needle that's this big, and then you show them the sub-Q needle that's that big, it's like, oh, well, shit. I mean, anybody can do that. Yeah. You know what I mean? They do it one time. Once you break that skin barrier, it's like, oh, well, shit, man, that's not that bad. You know what I mean? So we have about 75, 80% that take home. They come in once a month, pick up their prescription, and head out and do it themselves. See about 20, 25% that come
really?
in.
That's a big number. I'm surprised that many people stop by.
Well, I think a lot of times too, man, guys like sitting around bullshit and just hanging out because there's oftentimes the guys sit there and hang out for 25, 30 minutes. They've been done for a half hour. Yeah. Just sit around and bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just so they have lunch break or whatever it is. And it's cool because like I said, when we first started, I was in the stores every day for the first 3 years. And since the past few years, I haven't been in as much. I go in every single day, but I'm not there all day. And so it's cool to go in and like still bullshit with the guys and see who've been coming and supporting me for so long. It's pretty neat to like see where they're at and everything. It's pretty cool stuff.
That's awesome. So, okay. As far as if someone's wanting to start a business right now, I usually like to ask, what is like one good thing that someone could take home with listening to this podcast today?
Most of the shit you hear is bullshit.
Yeah.
There's no magic pill for it, man. If you want to do it, just do it. There's not going to ever be a good time to do it. There's always going to be something that's going to come up. That's going to be, oh, I'll do this. Well, I need to have this perfect. Guess what? Perfect doesn't fucking exist.
Yep.
The perfect time doesn't exist. The perfect situation doesn't exist. It doesn't happen. So if you're going to do it, stop bullshit and just do it. Get the foundations out of the way. Get the LLCs. Get the bank accounts open. Because once you get that rolling, it kind of gives you like, oh, this is kind of cool. Because most people who have opened a company before, they've never had one. They don't know about that stuff. So that forces you to learn a little bit. And if doing that amount of work, as far as getting into LLC and articles of organization, all that kind of stuff open, if that's too much work for you, guess what? It's probably a bad idea to open a company. You know what I mean? But
and that stuff's pretty easy to do.
It's fairly easy stuff.
Yes.
But a lot of people don't know, so they get overwhelmed because they don't know how to or where to even start. Use your phone.
Yeah.
It's a pretty powerful
Google.
It's a pretty powerful machine. You can
Yeah.
Google anything. You know what I mean? Not saying it's all the right information. However, it give you a step in the right direction. But most people don't even take that step.
Yeah.
And so if you're taking that step, you're ahead of the curve already. And you figure out that there's a lot of shit there's no one to depend on besides yourself.
Yeah.
So if you can get past those, that kind of gives you a little sense of pride. You're actually getting that done. You know, a little confidence because you actually are getting these things. Hey, last week I didn't know how to do this. This week, now I know what an LLC is. I know what it costs. I know how to open a bank account. Boom, boom, boom. You build those little wins up, and that can translate over to going to the next step. You know what I mean?
It's insane the amount of stuff when we started our business. And I mean, still to this day, we come across, I was in school for I went to all the way through college. And majority of the stuff that I've learned to run a business, I would say like 99%, I didn't learn from college. I learned from my dad that had a business, and I learned by failing over and over again for the past, 7.5 years at VI.
You can read 1,000 books, go to 1,000 seminars. You're never going to learn better than actually doing the thing you need to learn.
Yes.
That's just how it works. And you got to fuck up, man. I don't know how, I can't even count how many times I thought my business was over because I fucked up on something so minuscule.
Yep.
And those things still happen, but I learned how to handle them a lot better. You know what I mean? Because it's going to happen. Every time you fuck up, it's an opportunity to build. And every single time. And it's hard to think like that when you're in the moment. It's like the world's ending. Oh my God, it's over with.
Yeah.
But then you look back now, it's like those problems were minute compared to the ones I have now. And I'm handling these ones way better because I built that callus, if you want, to be stronger, be smarter with it, and learn that you're fucking up's part of the game. Yeah, there's not a single soul that's been successful that hasn't fucked up, and it's just how it's going to work.
Never met one.
I've never met one. You're not going to, and if you do, they're lying.
I was about to say, if you do, they're a unicorn. Trap them because we want to talk to them. Yeah,
take their blood and see what they got.
Exactly. Yeah, I was watching a YouTube video. It was I forget. Maybe it was a podcast. He was talking about he's an entrepreneur. And he owns a venture capital company. And so he was at, like MIT or one of those places. He went 6 months previously, talked about, all of these people were talking about starting businesses. He goes back 6 months later, talks to those same people about where they're at with the businesses. No one's done anything. No one's filed articles of corporate. No one's opened a bank account. No one's done anything. All they had were ideas on a piece of paper, which is great. But if you're not going to do anything with them, no one cares. You got to move. You got to take action.
Yes. The ideas are great. They're great to have. Ideas are ideas. They're not. They mean absolutely nothing. You put any action behind it.
Yep.
And that's the big thing. I was talking earlier about all the courses and people are going to. And not at this point, it's just a cool thing to go to the course. They're paying money to go to the course. It's like, well, why are you spending $1,000 to go to this damn thing? You're not going to take anything away from it. Stop doing the courses and take one course, one book, take what you learn from that one, whatever it is, and apply it to real world and see how it works for you. Because that might not work for you. However, I went to 13 courses this year. Okay, but you don't own a business yet.
Yeah,
who gives a shit? You know what I mean. You're going all these classes for entrepreneurs, and you're not one. Yeah. So why don't you go and take all this information and utilize it?
I hate gurus. So Vi made a video where I was a fake guru about 2.5 years ago on YouTube where we talk about drop shipping. We talk about, name it, we talked about in that video. And what's funny is there are legit business coaches, and those business coaches, for the majority of the time, they're not trying to sell you. They're just, posting content.
Yeah.
And they always have some sort of backlog, some sort of business they've sold, or they've been high up in a business where they've generated a shitload of money for that company or something. But if you don't have a background, like I get hit up all the time by, other marketing agencies trying to sell me stuff. And I'm like, you guys are brand new. Like, why would I go that way?
Yeah.
Or, hire us X, Y, and Z, we'll grow your brand and things like, it's like, there's so many of those people. And I don't know, it just has to do, I think, with the fact is you can wake up, get in front of your computer, and act like you have a job, kind of like what we were talking about.
Anybody can make a Facebook page, a business page. Well, that's funny too, because we have people all the time approach us with want to do our social media advertising. It's like, well, I clicked on your page, and I've got more followers than you do on my business page. So how are you going to grow my brand if you can't grow yours? Right. So it's like, if you're going to do that, get your shit straight first. Yeah. You got to be shitting me. You're a social media branding company talking about branding my business. My business has got 5 times more followers than yours. That doesn't mathematically make sense to me. Yes. I just don't get it. Yes. But I mean, they got to have balls, I guess. I mean, give them kudos to that to try and. But anybody that's worth a shit or can even pay attention is they're not gonna fall for it, because that's just little details you should probably pay attention to. If you're trying to sell me your social media content, yours better be goddamn good.
That
you know what I mean?
Makes sense.
It's logic that apparently that is missing from a lot of these people. Because like I said, anybody can make a page. They can go rent a Lamborghini and sit in front of it and say, I have X, Y, Z. And the sad thing is, it works for a lot of people.
It does work.
You know what I mean? I want a Lamborghini too, but I'm not gonna go rent one. Yeah. You know what I mean?
All these books. You don't want to be Ty Lopez. Remember
oh,
that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The original Lamborghini video. That like, I feel like he's kind of started that whole thing. But not really. I mean,
it's one of them things. It
goes back to like Tony Robbins in the 80s.
It's the cars, the boats. It's human nature to want that, especially as a dude. You want that cool shit. It never gets uncool. You know what I mean? So it's like, man, how did he do it? So it's more being curious of how he did it and wanting to learn more, getting closer to that human. And I think that's what a lot of people prey on, is doing exactly that. As a human, plus you're so accessible with social media, they can talk to you one time. This guy's got all this stuff, can talk to you one time, and you think you're buddies with a guy. And then all of a sudden you start feeding in. But the next thing you know, this guy's right-hand man, he ain't got a dollar to his name. So if his right-hand man ain't got no damn money, how's he gonna make you make money? Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's one of them things. Social media is an interesting creature. It's a very important tool, don't get me wrong,
100%.
but it's a tool. And people look into it a little too far, and you can make a lot of money with social media in different avenues. However, if your main source of income is a business coach, that's not in my book, that's kind of a red flag. Unless you've built a business and sold it.
You better be older.
Something of the sort. You better have 15 already businesses bought from you, or whatever it may be.
Well, why would you be a business coach if you did?
That doesn't make sense to me.
That's the thing. That's the thing I never really understood, is like, the reason you'd want to be a business coach is, you're an older guy, you've built and sold businesses, and you're almost giving back time, right? Yeah. You don't have to work 40 hours now. You can have some clients and help them build their businesses. But it's not. It's like there's all these 30-year-olds. It's like, what do you know?
A life coach is 25 years old.
What do you know? I wouldn't, like, maybe even me saying right now I could charge someone that's like 20 years old as a new, I just wouldn't want to.
Yeah. I've been in a business game total with the supplement store and stuff like that roughly 10 years. I don't feel like I know enough to do that. And there's people that, hey, I made 6 figures last year. I'll teach you how. It's like, man, that's cool.
Learn how to make 10K a month. It's like, what the fuck are we talking about here?
It's like,
it's not a successful business.
When I get to a point where I feel comfortable enough doing that, I will absolutely do it. 'Cause I feel it's almost like my duty to try to give back as much as possible to people that have given to me. Yeah. I'm going to give back to other people. I don't see myself really having some business coaching company by any means, but I am not even remotely fucking close to the point where I would feel comfortable giving business advice on a broad thing, having some guys $200 a month or what the hell ever it is. Yeah. I've lived a lot of life in my 37 years, but I still would feel right charging and using that for a business. And to be honest with you, I have an actual business I got to run.
Exactly.
I don't have the time to do it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? My kids, I was saying earlier, we only got so much energy. I've got a beautiful wife that's pregnant. I got 2 kids, and I got a business that's booming. Right. My energy resources are very, very slim pickings, so I'm very, very picky with where that energy is expended.
Yeah. So you looking to franchise more locations?
No, because we did that. We did that already.
So now
it's just not one of our things that. It sounds good, but there's a lot of control, and God forbid something were to mess up. It's our name, and this is me and John's baby, man. Mm-hmm. We gave a lot for this, and I don't want to give anyone the opportunity to mess that name up.
Yeah,
because it's just a name to them. It's not.
So you don't plan on selling anytime soon?
Not even close.
Okay.
If I sold this place, I would be doing the exact same thing I'm doing right now. I don't see the point.
So no reason to. Then.
There's no reason. I love being able to bullshit with guys about making their stuff better and hearing the stories. That's just my shit, man. I've been doing it my whole life.
Yeah.
Not knowing what I was doing. You know what I mean? So there's not a chance in hell I would. And right now, like I said, it means too much to us. It's not just a company, not just a name. We live it every day. And so I couldn't even, I don't want to put that in anybody else's hands. And I said, right now, we don't have to. We're at the point of doing all 50 states. There's not really any need. That's just added stress. I got added training, added things can go wrong. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So we really don't have to.
Yes. 100%.
With this stuff, you can mess up stuff pretty bad. And you hurt somebody, that's a big deal. We take that very serious.
Well, it was a pleasure having you on today, Scott. Before we get out of here, is there anything you'd like to tell the audience? Obviously, tell your socials, business name, of course, Summit Rejuvenation Center here in St. Louis. Anything you want them to know. But you said all 50 states, so anybody that needs help with this, please reach out to them. But go ahead and...
Yeah, we can help with anybody, and it said it's if you're having issues, there's a reason you're having issues, man. No one knows you like you know you. So if it's been 2 or 3 months of the same funk, get blood work done. At bare minimum, you're going to know how you're operating from the inside. If we find something wrong, that's fantastic. We can fix it. If you don't find something wrong, at least now you have a baseline of where you think you need to be. I was actually telling my nephew just last week. He's 21 years old, and we're telling him to come in to get blood work done because obviously he didn't have low testosterone at all. However, when he's 30 years old, he'll know where his baseline is, where he's feeling good at. So if he does blood work 10 years later and all this is off, it's like, oh, well, shit.
Interesting.
I was here when I was feeling good. Now I'm here when no wonder I'm feeling like shit. You know what I mean? So it's always good to have a baseline. It's always good to get blood work because most guys think it's a difficult thing. With us, it's extremely easy. If you're in a different state, all we do is you got to fill out a link. It's getsummitHRT.com, and that sends you right to our medical staff, and you talk back and forth with them. Fill out some paperwork. We send you to a lab core near you. Get some blood work done. It takes you 15 minutes. Come back, and then once we get the results back, we call you and say, hey, this is messed up. This is messed up. This is our plan of attack. If you want to, if you don't want to do it, hey, there's your blood work. You're good to go. Part ways. We're here when you're here when you need us. And if you do, we send you consents, and we call the medication into our pharmacy. They send it straight to your house. So it's a very, very easy, seamless process that there's no reason not to get it done. It's just too simple.
Perfect. Well, thank you again for coming on. We'll go ahead and wrap this up here. That's all the time we have for today. However, we will be back next week, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time with a new episode, new guest, and unfortunately more of myself, potentially Chris. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching live or later, we said something wrong, said something you hate. We cut out the beginning of this podcast. I'm sure some of you guys would be upset. Or said something you said something you want to hear more about. You can visit us at stlouispodcast.com. Feel free to leave a comment, like, subscribe. Show us some love here. We're trying to represent St. Louis, so show your friend, show your mom, dad, sister, brother, cousin, uncle, whatever. Finally, we recorded this episode at halfcoaststudios.com. You can see Matt here behind me. If you're looking to host a podcast, if you're looking for distribution of a podcast that can take care of you, go to halfcoaststudios.com. Again, it's been a pleasure speaking with you today, Scott.
I appreciate your time, brother. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. It was a pleasure in hosting this podcast with the people of St. Louis. We'll see everyone again next week, 7 a.m. Central Time. Peace.
Hey there, St. Louis podcast listeners. We've got some exciting news from our sponsor, Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, led by the man, the myth, the legend, Mark Lee. Mark Lee of Farmers Insurance is recruiting agency owners here in St. Louis.
That's right, Garrett, and everyone knows what Farmers Insurance is, and if they don't, they will now.
Yes, it's kind of a household name. That said, as many of you know, a large part of our audience is made up of badass business owners, entrepreneurs, and top producing sales professionals with an open mind like yourself. Farmers Insurance is currently searching for driven individuals who aspire to own their own business or already own their own business and want to add another income stream to join the Farmers Insurance brand and own their own insurance agency.
This is a stellar opportunity to build your own insurance agency from scratch, take over an existing agency, or if you're just a slow roller, we know you, the guys out there and ladies, get paid to train under an existing successful agency owner before starting your own.
Holy shit, Eric. That means that whether you have experience as a business owner or you've never heard the word business before in your life, there's a pathway to owning your own business through Farmers Insurance Agency led by Mark Lee.
That's right. You can become a Farmers Insurance business owner even if you've been homeless in the past, just like you.
Yeah, thanks.
If you've ever dreamt of being your own boss, building a team under a reputable brand, and making a difference in your community by offering top-tier auto, home, and commercial insurance to consumers and businesses in your area, Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, led by the godlike man himself, Mark Lee, has the perfect opportunity for you.
Visit insurancecareerstl.com to speak with Mark Lee, the district manager of Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, to become a Farmers Insurance Agency owner today.
Did you hear that, St. Louis? Go visit insurancecareerstl.com. Insurancecareerstl.com. That is INSURANCE, career, CAREERSTL.com.
To become a business owner today, again, one more time, visit insurancecareerstl, as in St. Louis.com today. Right now, this second, or reach out to us at stlouispodcast.com and we'll introduce you to Mark Lee ourselves. And I promise he won't spell out insurance and career to you.